So, in case you somehow missed the point, this is a great moment in the history of Shaarey Zedek. It's a moment when there's actually a plan for succession and continuity of vision from rabbi to rabbis. So we're celebrating something this morning above and beyond the blessing of new spiritual leadership. We're also celebrating a new level of process, one that allows us to build on our previous successes. At this special moment in the history of Shaarey Zedek, we have a wonderful combination of staff, administration, lay leadership, and clergy. More than ever before, in my memory, we're working as a team. And so I want to thank all the constituent parts of our congregation. First of all, our president, Lauren Weiss, and all the members of the Shaarey Zedek board, Ben Burkle, our ritual chair, and all the members of the ritual committee, all the dedicated chairs and volunteers of our other committees, our devoted synagogue sisterhood, our executive director, Ian Staniloff, along with the beautiful office staff that we have. We thank Bill Croydon and our maintenance team, Joel Lafont, and our incredible catering crew, our lay clergy, Bill Weissman, and last, but certainly not least, our two new rabbis, Anibal and Matthew Leibl. It's a wonderful, wonderful team that we have assembled these days. And I want to thank them all for the wonderful team effort which has led to Shaarey Zedek's current level of success and harmony, and which holds such great promise for the future. We all know that the Torah is a tree of life and a vast ocean of wisdom. And one way we can utilize this wisdom is to look at the Torah's cast of characters. Why? Because, as we discussed a little last night, the authors of the Torah have created a literary masterpiece. And so one can actually gain deep insight into oneself and others by looking at the different personalities of the Torah and discovering characteristics that we share in common. This is a large part of what the Torah is actually designed to do. So I'd like to apply this little technique to our new rabbis. First, to Rabbi Mas. Not everyone realizes Rabbi Mas has already been our Chazan for some 16 years. And assuming another 20 good years in the rabbinate, Rabbi Mas has an excellent chance at 2 times high years here, which would put him within range of the exalted company of Rabbi Louis Burkle. How has Rabbi Mas been able to achieve this longevity? I would say by embodying the qualities of Joshua, the able assistant of Moses and his eventual successor. Through all the ups and downs and thick and thin of our time together, there's never been a single time when Rabbi Mas didn't have my back. He's been nothing but helpful and supportive in every possible way. At the same time, Rabbi Mas has been a leader in his own right, teaching children and adults with great intelligence, efficiency, and good humor. I vividly remember, even at the time of his first interview, when his English was a lot less perfect than it is today, how Anibal already was telling jokes and doing imitations of Hannibal Lecter. Over the years, it's been most pleasant and even inspirational to work with Rabbi Mas. And I know that it hasn't always been easy for him. There have been many challenges. But the way Anibal has met and overcome these obstacles reminds me of another Torah personality, that being Nachshon ben Aminadav. Nachshon's story isn't really told in the Torah, but the rabbis explain how Nachshon jumps into the Red Sea long before it's ready to split. And he continues moving forward into deeper and deeper waters that go right up to his nostrils. And only then does the sea split. Similarly, Anibal has kept moving forward, firm in his faith that the seas of adversity would eventually split and that the light would shine upon him and in the end. So happily, today, that light is shining so brightly upon Anibal, upon Ishira, Ronen, and the rest of his family as he becomes rabbi of Congregation Shaarey Zedek. And now for Rabbi Leibl. From the moment I first heard Matthew give the valedictory speech at the graduation from Joseph Walensky Collegiate back in 2004, I think it was, I knew he was very special. Over the years, I've come to see that Matthew possesses more than just a penetrating intellect. He's also deeply intuitive and wise far beyond his years. And therefore, it's not so surprising that Matthew has gone from strength to strength in his life, and his ascent in the world has been a rapid one. So both in and out of Shaarey Zedek, both in and out of Winnipeg, both in and out of the Jewish world, Matthew has succeeded by embodying the qualities of the biblical Joseph. If you remember, Joseph was the dreamer, the visionary, the man with the plan, when he got his opportunity to save Egypt from famine in the court of Pharaoh. Similarly, when Matthew first came to Shaarey Zedek 12 years ago, he did so with his eyes and ears open. Understanding the heart of Winnipeg Jewry, Matthew conceived the possibility of a Nusach Winnipeg, a Jewish style that would fulfill the spiritual needs of a secular Jewish community. So 3 years ago, Lorne Weiss, who was then ritual chair, Matthew, and I met over lunch. Like Joseph in the court of Pharaoh, Matthew laid out the requirements for a successful modern religious service, and we wrote it all down on a napkin. A few months later, Matthew's idea for a shorter, more musical, more interactive service became a reality here at Shaarey Zedek. Now, 1 week prior to the first radically revamped service, I was having my doubts. I said, Matthew, do you really think this service is going to fly? Matthew replied, I'm as sure of this service as anything I've ever been sure of in my whole life. And as you've seen this morning, it's definitely proven to be the case. As you know, Matthew was a sports broadcaster before joining Shaarey Zedek full-time. And so to borrow an example from the world of sports, having Matthew on Team Shaarey Zedek is a bit like Timu Solani coming to the Jets as a rookie and deciding to stay until the end of his career. And so my wish today is that Rabbi Leibl should continue to stay and play and be a blessing to Heather, to his family, and to Shaarey Zedek for many years to come. And speaking of blessings, it's now time for us to move on to the installation ceremony itself. So first I'd like to invite Lorne Weiss, Bill Weissman, Ian Staniloff, and Louise Rayber come to the bima, and they are going to unfurl this big, huge Shaarey Zedek chuppah, under which Rabbis Blane, Mas, and Leibl should arrange themselves. It's a pleasure. Or you can use a handheld if you'd like. Oh yeah, okay. So this goes so. And that's right, yes. So just give them the door and the speakers here only.
Uh-oh. Technology. Oh, there we go. Well, Rabbi Green. And,
Over here.
Right. Oh. Shaarey Zedek community. In our tradition for many generations, a rabbi in Israel was looked upon as a king in his community. The Talmud attached even more significance when it compares them to Malachei HaShareh, to ministering angels. This is in Nedarim 20. Go ahead and read it. It's in the Talmud, I promise you. In those days, there was no formal installation of a rabbi. There was no point in instituting a public celebration, and declaring to the people that the newly appointed rabbi, or rabbis in this case, are the religious and spiritual authority of the town or the city. Because everyone was quite aware of the role of the Maradatra, the master of the place. That was the title that the rabbi was generally referred to. People rarely questioned the rabbi's position in Jewish life, or even dared to challenge the rabbi's halachic religious law decisions, or his spiritual counsel, or his advice. And if a person did anything that could be interpreted as challenging the authority of the spiritual leader, well, that person was promptly put in their place. The story is told of someone who once took it upon himself to decide a matter of Jewish law. One Friday morning, his wife found something not right inside the kitchen. Inside the chicken she was about to cook. Some type of object was in there, and she was about to go to the rabbi to ask whether the chicken was kosher or not. Her husband asked her where she was going, and she told him. He said, "Let me see." So he examined the inside of the chicken in the light of the sun, and he said to his wife, "It's kosher. It's not on the lung, it's good. It's not a bruise, it's okay." So on Shabbat at shul, the wife boasted about her husband's, we call it paskening. The husband's given his religious opinion on the halacha, on the religious law. And before long, the rabbi heard about it. So the next day, the rabbi shows up at the man's house and begins to examine the man's horses. He slaps one slowly on the side and says, "Yeah, this is a good horse." Another one he looks in the mouth and says, "This is a worthless horse. Its teeth are bad." And the third horse, he said, should only be sold because it was skinny and lame. The man watched the rabbi in amazement and finally said, "Rabbi, since when did you become a maven, a connoisseur on horses?" You know where I'm going with this, right? The rabbi said, "I became an expert on horses at the same time you became an expert on Jewish law." Ladies and gentlemen, I promise you, that Rabbis Mas and Leibl will not be visiting your homes and inspecting your horses. He might. But please extend to them the honor of guiding your wonderful community into the future with their hearts and their innovation, their spirits, and their souls. Moshe kibel Torah misinai, u'mesara leYoshua. Yehoshua v'zkenim, l'nvi'im. U'nvi'im mesuraha le'anshei knesset hagdola. Haim amru shlosha devarim, havu metunim badim, v'ha'amidu talmidim harbe, v'yasu siyag la Torah. Moses received the Torah at Mount Sinai. He transmitted it to Joshua. Joshua, in turn, passed it on to the elders, and the elders to the prophets. The prophets transmitted the Torah to the sages of the great assembly. The sages taught three things: be deliberate in judgment, raise up many disciples, and protect the integrity of the Torah. That's from Pirkei Avot, the ethics of the fathers. Shaarey Zedek, this chain of tradition links Sinai to this very moment and continues now as it has in every generation as we place this scroll in the arms of Rabbi Mas, Rabbi Leibl. Our God and God of our ancestors, bestow your blessings, Rabbi Mas, Rabbi Leibl, and this congregation. Instill in them wisdom and righteousness, steadfastness and devotion, as they assume the position of Rabbi of Shaarey Zedek. Grant your rabbis wise hearts, candor, and courage. May they respond to every challenge with dignity and plant within them a full measure of your compassion, that they might embody the words of our tradition. Ha'avei mitalmidav shel Aharon, ohev shalosh v'radev shalom, ohev et habriot, u'mekarban la Torah. Rabbis, be disciples of Aaron, loving peace, pursuing peace, loving all people, and drawing them closer to your Torah.
Guide, humbly embark on the path leading this holy community. We work together as sacred partners to fulfill the vision and mission of this Kehillah Kadosha. May we never lead them astray, knowingly or inadvertently. May our hands and hearts be ever faithful to serving.
Amen. And now we'll conclude with a blessing, the Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, the threefold benediction. And I have a little melody that I'd like to sing. And you'll learn it. You'll know all their melodies. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Yair Adonai panav elecha, v'chuneka. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May the Lord bless and keep you, cause a holy light from up above. May the Lord never cease to grant you joy and peace, and may your hearts be overflowing with love. Lie, lie, lie. Yai, lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Everybody. Yeah, lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 clap. Lie, lie, clap. Lie, lie, lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. God bless you, rabbis. God bless you. We're very, very proud and very happy. And now, Rabbi Green.
Yes, God should bless the rabbis, but we also should bless the rabbis. In fact, the greatest blessing that a rabbi can ever receive is from his congregation, from her congregation. So I'd like to invite everyone to please rise. And you know how we bless in Judaism? We actually hold our hands up and we transmit the blessing. If you can do this, all the better. Like, okay? Those with, the ancestry of the Levites and the Kohanim, maybe you can do it. And join me in blessing our two new rabbis with the blessing of Aaron the high priest. Please join together with me. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha Yael Adonai panav elai vichuneka. Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'asem lecha shalom. Anibal and Matthew, may God bless you and keep you. May God illuminate you and be gracious to you. And may God gift you and all of us with the most precious gift of human life, the gift of shalom.
Amen.
Please be seated.
Congratulations. Oops. Uh-oh.
It was time. Sure. And we now have an opportunity to hear from the rabbis themselves. Please.
I guess this is the rabbi side.
You're welcome to it.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't ready, but... And just because Rabbi Green mentioned before, I will open with a joke. This is about a plane that is about to crash. They have only 4 people inside, so the pilot said, have good news and bad news. The good news is I have parachutes. Bad news is I have only 3. And as soon as he finished saying that, he took one of the parachutes and he jumped. Then out of the 3 that were left, there's a man who stands up and said, I'm a Harvard professor and I'm considered the smartest man alive. So he takes one of them and he jumps. Then there were only 2 left. There was a Boy Scout and a rabbi. And the rabbi said to the Boy Scout, said, listen, son, I dedicated my life to serve people, to speak faith into them, to inspire them. So please take the last parachute and save your life. And the Boy Scout says, oh, don't worry, Rabbi, we are okay. We still have 2 parachutes. The smartest man alive took my backpack. So I just thought about this because I felt about my life. That I decided to dedicate my life to inspire people, to speak faith into them, and to help others. That's why I wanted to become a rabbi. But this is not something that happened overnight. It was a process. And I think I was able to finish that process because I was blessed with wonderful people around me at every step of the way. So first, I'm very thankful for my mother who gave me life, and she's here visiting from Argentina. Somebody translate that to her, please. And also, I'm very thankful for the one who ended that process. That was Rabbi Blane. Rabbi Blane over there, who actually shared all his knowledge, all his passion, without any limits. He put all his heart into the classes, and I'm blessed of being the recipient of all that knowledge and all that passion. So thank you for being here celebrating with us. And also, I realized it is impossible to mention every person that was next to me all along the way here at the Shaarey Zedek, because I have so many wonderful people from the staff, from the boards of directors. And let me tell you, I come from other synagogues, and the board of directors we have here at Shaarey Zedek is phenomenal. It was always supportive and always believing in what I was presenting and what I wanted to do. Especially, I have to mention our wonderful executive directors since I came to Shaarey Zedek, Jackie Wasserman and Ian Staniloff, that even though we fight a lot, I do love you, man. You know that. You know that. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And of course, it's amazing that this moment of my installation as a rabbi happened during Lauren Wise's tenure as president, because Lauren's been not only a huge supporter of my work, but also a wonderful friend, and I consider him part of my family. So thank you, Lauren. And also, perhaps one of the most important people here at Shaarey Zedek was Rabbi Alan Green, whose inspiration, mentorship, and I have to emphasize that, mentorship, and all the opportunities that he gave me to explore my path into Rabbinic. I can't thank you, Alan, enough for that opportunity that brought me into this moment. And of course, I want to mention and recognize that I could not think on anybody better than Matthew Leibl to become my colleague and partner into this amazing task, into putting this vision that we have into work. Because we have wonderful ideas, but you need people that can work together to bring those ideas into happening. So I really believe that because we complement each other so much, we are the right duo to be able to transform an idea into reality for you, our congregation. And of course, my thanks and my love to my wonderful wife, Ashira, who she was my biggest supporter all this time, always speaking faith into me, making me believe in myself. Even when I didn't believe in myself, she was always there to cheer me up and to push me to keep moving forward. And perhaps now I understand the words of God to Abraham, when God said to Abraham, whatever your wife tells you, you do. He did quite well. So I'm hoping to mimic that, and it's all thank you to Ashira for being there all the time, no matter what. And also, I want to mention, many people ask me many times why I'm wearing talit katan. You know, these fringes. It's talit katan, it's the tzitzit that goes, is their undergarment. And I started to wear that from the moment that I became a rabbi on July 1st. And let me explain to you why I decided to do that. When the Torah talks about the tzitzit, it says, Leman Tizkeru, so you will remember. So for me, it's a reminder that from now on, I'm a rabbi, and I have a sacred task to fulfill. So I have to remember that I'm here to inspire, to speak faith into people, to motivate people. And it's also a reminder to you that I will be there for you every time you need a rabbi. And together we can build a wonderful place where I can feel safe and secure to allow my son Ronen to grow up as a Jew, because I'm pretty sure that this is the place that it will give him all the tools that he will need to become a wonderful shul. And this is not just about Matthew and I, it's about you, because you are the one who are making this place a wonderful place. And you are the ones who make me, my wife, and my son feel part of your family. Thank you.
I have to pick someone's face I can look at. I won't start crying, so I can't look at anybody in my family. Who has a funny face? David. Oh, David's going to start crying. All the years on the radio where you go live, you lose that sense of being very overwhelmed by the moment. But this is one of those rare moments for me where I feel very overwhelmed. And I'm so blown away to see so many people here. We all know you came for the big kiddush, but it's okay, we won't tell anybody. But you came to celebrate us, and to celebrate our city, and to celebrate our synagogue and our community, and that's not lost on us. And it's a tremendous honor to see you all here with us on this snowy November morning. Thank you so much to all of you for being here. I would in particular like to thank a number of people who are here as part of my family. I can't look at my folks. Oh, crap. I'll get to them last. I have to block out the whole section. The order is not particular except for kind of how I find you, I guess. And my mom's sister, my Aunt Carol from Vancouver is here. My Baba's sister, Sorella, is here from Chicago. My wife's entire family pretty much is here. My mother-in-law and father-in-law, David and Susan. My aunt and uncle, Lynn and John, from London. My in-laws from, my father-in-law is crying. I'm in serious trouble. My Susan and David are here from Markham. Lynn and John are here from London. Our Opa, our grandfather, Fred Neufeld, is here from Guelph. My sister-in-law, Kristen, and her husband, my brother-in-law, Jeff, from Toronto. My sister-in-law, Laura, and her husband, my brother-in-law, Jamie, from Sudbury. My uncle, Sid, my Aunt Andrea, my cousin Lana, her partner Landon, my, I guess, great uncle, sort of, Max, who never comes to this shul, but he came today, and that's not lost on me. And of course, my Baba, our niece, my sister Leah, my parents, Stuart and Ellen, my wife Heather. I have a lot of people who love me who are here, so I'll forgive them for moving everything in my house this weekend, because I'm so honored that they would come here and rearrange their lives and rearrange their schedules, whether you're in town or not. To be here today is very, very special for me and very overwhelming. Thank you. And I look out, my sister was joking in anticipation of this moment that it's gonna, she kept saying, my mom invited everybody that she knew to my bar mitzvah. And I remember being up here and looking out and being like, I don't know anybody here. And Leah kept saying, leading up to this week, she kept saying, bigger than your bar mitzvah, bigger than your bar mitzvah. And yeah, it is. But what's different really is that I recognize pretty much everybody here. I know all of you people. I know you because you've been coming as regular shul goers, or you were students of mine, or you were parents of students of mine, or we've gone through weddings together, or we've gone through funerals together, or we've studied together. You're friends of my family, you're friends of mine. And it reminds me, I've got some of my oldest friends in the world who are here, sneaking into the back corner, of course. And it reminds me of why I decided to do this and told people like Lauren Weiss and Uri Kraut and Anibal and Rabbi Green and Ian Staniloff about a year and a half ago that this was the plan. People say, oh, you're becoming a rabbi. You must be a very, very spiritual person. You must be very connected with God. And I ruffled a bunch of feathers when I told Bernie Bellin that I'm a secular Jew and I'm not religious. And a lot of people keep coming up to me, how can you be a rabbi if you don't believe in God? This is terrible. Well, that's not what I meant. I'm not religious. I grew up in this community like so many of you, living a life like so many of you. And I have a connection. I have a relationship with God. I don't believe that this is all completely random in some ways. I believe that we have a purpose, but it's evolving. I'm 32 years old, for crying out loud. How could I possibly have God figured out? But the real reason why I became a rabbi and why I want to be a rabbi and why I'm really excited about this is because of the people. And Anibal just touched on this, is that you deal with God, sure, but you get your real validation, in my opinion, from the people you teach and the people you work with, the people you marry and the people you bury and the people that you get to see on a regular basis. I mean, it's so close. It's so close. It's the people. It's the people that I recognize when I look out here and I think to myself, you really like us. And you want us to be your rabbis. And you're excited to come to shul again. And you're excited to tell your friends that you've been to shul. You're not embarrassed to be like, yeah, I went to shul. Yeah, and it was terrible. Came to shul and you liked it and you got something out of it. And you can see where we're going. You can see what we're trying to do here. It's 2017. And we're caught between thousands and thousands of years of tradition that we read about today. Guys like Abraham in a context that doesn't fit today. And we're trying to fit it in to today's society. And like Rabbi Mas said, that's what we are doing here. We're trying to be creative, but also conservative. Trying to understand that tradition is one of the most important things. I mean, it's the opening number to Fiddler on the Roof, which is like the 6th book of the Bible. Tradition is very, very important. But we all knew. We moved our services into the chapel because on regular Saturdays, we had gone from 150 people to 60 people. And though we don't normally get crowds of this size, you all are welcome to come back every week. We are back up to 150 people on a regular basis because there's a buzz, because there's an energy. And that's why I was so sure of it when I told Rabbi Green 2.5 years ago that this would work, is because I knew that there was an appetite for it, because people who are Jewish love being Jewish. And people who are Jewish are proud to be Jewish, and they want to find ways to show other Jews and the rest of the world that they are Jewish and that they are proud and that they care about their children being Jewish and their children's children being Jewish and continuing on the chain of tradition that we have all inherited. So to look out and see all of your faces and recognize all of your faces, unlike when I was 13 years old, it encourages me and reminds me that what we are doing is right, that we are very, very lucky. I think the kids say, #blessed. And we are very, very blessed. So though you gave us your blessing today, on behalf of Rabbi Mas, I would like to give you our blessing and just say thank you for investing in us and believing in us. A lot of people keep sending me, people who couldn't be here today, even people last night at the dinner keep saying, you guys are the future. No pressure. Thanks. The truth is, though, I get a lot of my wisdom from Jerry Seinfeld. And someone once asked Jerry Seinfeld, when you walk out on stage, do you feel tremendous pressure? You see all of these people looking at you saying, be funny. Don't you feel pressure? And he said, are you kidding? Not at all. The pressure that they have and that they're putting on me, they think, is nothing compared to the pressure that I feel myself and the expectation that I set for myself. And that is exactly, I'll speak on behalf of Anibal, of Rabbi Mas, and for myself, that is exactly how we feel. You think that you've put pressure on us. We know this congregation's been around since 1889. We know we are joining the ranks of Rabbi Aaron, Rabbi Nessus, Rabbi Wernick, Rabbi Balzer, Rabbi Meyerowitz, Rabbi Green. We know, and there's no pressure that you could possibly put on us that we haven't already put on ourselves 10 times. But it's the pressure that is what we live for. And that's what excites us. Because we believe so strongly in where this community is headed. And we believe so strongly that we can handle all of the pressure that you think you have on us to take us into the next phase of Judaism in Winnipeg and Judaism in North America and maybe even around the world. Shaarey Zedek has been a visionary kind of synagogue long before I was a bar mitzvah here, long before Anibal moved here and did Hannibal Lecter impersonations. Long, long ago, the founders of this congregation, the board of directors to this very day, have been looking at ways to move forward. So we feel the pressure, but it is what drives us. And we are very, very excited. I want to thank some of the same people. I mentioned them. Anibal mentioned them. Lauren Weiss, our president. Ian Staniloff, our executive director. Rabbi Alan Green, our teacher. Rabbi Steven Blane, our mentor. Members of my family that I've acknowledged. But my favorite person to thank is Rabbi Mas. When I went to his house and told him, I think I'm going to leave the radio and become a rabbi. He said, well, so we'll do the program together, right? Exactly. We're doing this together. And not just the two of us, but all of us. So thank you very much. And Shabbat Shalom.